Welcome to SVR IAS Academy. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. In today's newspaper analysis video lecture, we are going to discuss so many important topics. Today's date is November 7th, 2016. First topic that we are going to discuss is about India-Sri Lanka relations and the recent developments. As you might be aware that fishermen issue between India and Sri Lanka is one of the long-standing issue that needs to be solved. In this background, you should know what is the reason for the fishermen dispute between India and Sri Lanka, what is Kachativu Island, why Kachativu Island is a point of dispute between India and Sri Lanka, why India donated Kachativu Island to Sri Lanka, why people from Tamil Nadu is asking government of India to get back the Kachativu Island. From geography point of view, you should know about Gulf of Mannar, Park Strait, etc. And also you should know something about bottom trawling fishing method and its various drawbacks. So in this background, external affairs ministers of both countries met and some important agreements has been signed. The recent development is that India and Sri Lanka both agreed to establish a joint working group on fisheries. It is a small step in resolving the dispute between the fishermen of both countries. So the first point is both countries agreed to establish joint working mechanism on fisheries. Another point is that in the joint working group, representatives from the ministries of the foreign affairs, coast guard and navies of both countries will participate in the joint working group on fisheries. Frequently, Indian fishermen has been arrested by Sri Lankan Navy for crossing the marine boundary. In this image, try to locate India and Sri Lanka. There is a narrow passage of sea between India and Sri Lanka. So that there is a high contest between the fishermen of both countries to fish in this narrow region. This region is called as Gulf of Mannar, and this region is called as Park Strait. So dispute is that fishing in the narrow region, often fishermen from Tamil Nadu crossing the boundaries and fishing in the Sri Lankan waters, and Sri Lankan Navy arrest Indian fishermen and their boat. So it is a point of dispute between India and Sri Lanka for many decades. What are all the other recent developments? Both India and Sri Lanka decided to establish hotline between the coast guards of both countries, and after that it was decided that joint working group on fisheries should meet every 3 months once, and fisheries ministries of both countries should meet every 6 months once. So the joint working group on fisheries should meet 3 months once. Ministries of fisheries of both countries should meet 6 months once. Now let's discuss about the fishermen issue in detail. Already the sea between the Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka is very narrow. In 1970s, Government of India gifted Kachativu Island to Sri Lanka. So apart from Kachativu, the neighborhood area also went to Sri Lanka. It's already so the donation of the Kachativu Island further complicated the fishermen issue between India and Sri Lanka. So recently both India and Sri Lanka agreed to end the practice of bottom trawling by Indian fishermen. Sri Lankan government banned the use of bottom trawling by its fishermen, but Indian fishermen use the bottom trawling. It has various environmental consequences that we will discuss in detail. Apart from that, both countries decided to set up a procedure to repatriate the arrested fishermen and patrol together. Finally, the issue related to bottom trawling is that India accepted that bottom trawling has many environmental consequences and need to be banned. But India asked for 3 years grace period so that its fishermen can adapt to the new methods. But Sri Lanka is not accepting that because within 3 years the fishing resources in the bottom will be wiped out completely. So bottom trawling practice should be banned immediately. It is the Sri Lankan government's requirement, or you can say demand. Another point is that hotline will be set up between Indian and Sri Lankan Coast Guard for instant communication. So whenever fishermen and their patrol has been arrested by Navy of the other country, hotline will be used for instant communication. Now let's discuss about why bottom trawling practice should be eliminated. Already we discussed about India agreed to stop the bottom trawling practice but asked for 3 years grace period, but Sri Lanka is not accepting the 3-year grace period that already we discussed. Then what is bottom trawling? Bottom trawling is nothing but industrial fishing method where a large net with heavy weights will be used across the sea floor and scooping up everything in its path, whether fishes, corals, everything. It will be wiped out by bottom trawling practice. In this image, you can understand why bottom trawling is more dangerous and unsustainable. Here, fishermen are there and they go to the middle of the ocean and they use bottom trawling net, is a wider net, and scoops up everything in its path, whether corals, fishes, everything. So this area becomes empty. As you might be knowing that corals are the most common diverse reef in the world. That means corals has the maximum biodiversity on the earth. So corals also takes thousands of years to develop. It takes thousands of years. So the bottom trawling destroys the coral reefs and disturbs the sediments, and bottom dwelling marine life also gets disturbed. So the unwanted fishes or marine life makes up to 90% of the bycatch. Bycatch means within this the useful item is only 10 to 20%. Remaining useless 90 to 70% are thrown back. This is called bycatch. Fishermen aiming for fish, but they also get other marine life, corals. So after getting that, fishermen will throw them back. This is called bycatch. Now you can understand the environmental consequences of bottom trawling. So the bottom trawling is unselective. Unselective means fishermen aim for the fishes, but 90% items are called bycatch. And this practice severely damages the seafloor ecosystem, and this practice has to be banned. Sri Lanka wants to end the unsustainable practice of bottom trawling fishing methods in the Park Strait and surrounding region. So let's prepare thoroughly on the India-Sri Lanka relations and also about bottom trawling. What is that? How it is done? What are the environmental consequences of bottom trawling, and so on. It can be asked in the GS paper too. Now let's discuss the second topic of the day, that is biomethanogenesis. Delhi air pollution is coming in the news on daily basis. in that background, a term biomethanogenesis came in the news. So in this background, we will discuss what is biomethanogenesis exactly. Biomethanogenesis is a process in which organic materials are converted into biogas by using the anaerobic conditions. So here simply take all the organic waste, whether domestic waste, industrial waste and everything, and dump into the system. Here oxygen supply will not be there. Anaerobic means without oxygen. So here so many bacteria will be placed. These bacteria are called as anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria means the bacteria survives without the help of oxygen. When the organic waste is dumped here, anaerobic bacteria digest this and finally methane gas or simply you can say biogas is released. This biogas can be used as cooking fuel or for other purpose. So if we use the biomethanogenesis method extensively, it will help us to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. At present, we are dependent on fossil fuels for our energy security. If biomethanogenesis is practiced extensively and government invests heavily in this method, it may help us to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels for our energy security. So the renewable energy, that is a biogas, is produced and the gas can be used to produce electricity. Here in this image, you can understand much better about biomethanogenesis. Here kitchen waste, cow dung waste and other municipal organic waste are dumped into this biogas plant. Here anaerobic bacteria are placed. So after digesting the organic waste by bacteria, manure will be collected at the end of the process and the manure can be used in the agriculture field, and methane gas, that is biogas, is released. It can be used for cooking and also for other purpose. Now let's discuss some facts on this topic. At the end of the decomposition of organic waste by anaerobic bacteria, methane is produced. It constitutes nearly 60%. Then remaining 40% is constituted by carbon dioxide and other gases. So let's prepare thoroughly on the biomethanogenesis. It can be asked in the prelims and GS paper 3. Now let's discuss the third topic of the day, that is climate change and its impacts on the Himalayan region. As everyone knows, there are two poles. One is Arctic pole and second is Antarctic pole, where huge amounts of glaciers are there. On the earth, there is a third pole, that is Himalayan region. Himalayan region is often called as third pole by the environmentalists. In this background, let's discuss about this topic further. Why the topic came in the news? Recently, central government has asked GB Bunt Institute to represent the 12 Himalayan states and the Conference of Parties 22 of the UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change meeting, that is going to be held between November 7th to November 18th. Hindu Kush region was represented by Nepal-based International Center for Integrated Mountain Development. It's an important prelims fact. International Center for Integrated Mountain Development is located in Kathmandu, that's the capital of Nepal. So this institute will represent Hindu Kush region. Now let's discuss the importance of Himalayas. Himalayas provides water to 1.3 billion people in Asia. So 1.3 billion people in Asia gets water supply from the Himalayan glaciers. In this image, you can locate the rivers that are fed by the Himalayan glaciers. Ganga River, Indus River, so Brahmaputra River, Irrawaddy River, Mekong River, Yangtze River, Yellow River, all are fed by Himalayan glaciers. So if Himalayan glaciers are not there means India and China's and other countries in the Southeast Asia, Pakistan will not be there. So this region's water supply comes exclusively from the Himalayan glaciers. So it is very important that we should ensure the Himalayan glaciers are well protected. One country cannot do the job. So countries in the region must join their hands together so that Himalayan glaciers are well protected. Here another important prelims point is that Himalayan glaciers are the water towers of Asia. So Himalayan glaciers are often called as water towers of Asia because Himalayan glaciers are the source of many important great rivers of the world. They are Yangtze, Ganges, Indus and Mekong River and other rivers that already we discussed. Nearly more than 1 billion people depend on the Himalayan glaciers for their livelihood and survival. More than 500 million people in South Asia and nearly 40 million people in China are completely dependent on the Himalayan glaciers for their survival. So now you understood the importance of Himalayan glaciers. Apart from that, out of total earth land mass, nearly 10% of the earth land mass is covered with the snow. Out of the total snow, 84% of the snow is in Antarctica, 13% of the snow is in Greenland and 0.77% of the snow is in Himalayan region. So Himalayas comes third in terms of the total area under ice cover. The important point is that Himalaya has maximum concentration of the glaciers. Himalayan region has the maximum concentration of glaciers. As already we discussed, glaciers in the Himalayas are called as third pole. The world is talking about melting of the snow in the Arctic and Antarctic regions because of the global warming and climate change. But the melting of the Himalayan glaciers goes largely unreported but if Arctic and Antarctic glaciers melts, it won't affect the people directly much. But if Himalayan glaciers are melting means nearly 1 billion people will get directly affected. But the issue of the melting of Himalayan glaciers goes largely unreported. That is why India recently asked G.B. Band Institute to represent 12 Himalayan states in the Conference of Parties 22 meeting of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It is another important prelims fact is that Himalayan mountains encompass the largest non-polar ice mass in the world. So the third large ice mass, or you can say it is the largest non-polar ice mass. Two polar ice mass are Antarctic and Arctic. So Himalayan region is the third largest and largest non-polar ice mass. In this image you can see the Himalayan glaciers, the part of Himalayan glaciers. Few decades back it is covered well with snow. Now you can see the same mountains which are exposed. Ice accumulation got reduced because of the climate change and global warming. There are various impacts of the climate change on the Himalayan region. In the glaciers, you can divide the ice into two parts. One is core and this is something. Here core means This region represents hard ice crystals which never melts and never exposed to climate change. This is called as soft ice crystals. They accumulate and in the summer they melt into water. But hard ice crystals never exposed to the sunlight and summer season, so they never melted. But because of the climate change and global warming, ice formation period got reduced. It exposes the hard ice crystals to the summer, and recently scientists noted in various parts of the world that hard ice crystals started melting because of its exposure to the sunlight and summer months. Because of the climate change, the period of snowfall also got shorter. Because of the shorter period of snowfall, it prevents the snow from turning into hard ice crystals on the one hand. Second, hard ice crystals are exposed to the summer months and hard ice crystals started melting during summer month. Because of the climate change, it leads to the rainfall in the mountains instead of snow formation. Rain which accelerates the melting of glaciers. So these are the important points which can be asked in the prelims and mains examination. Because of the heavy rainfall in the high altitudes of the Himalayan region, which causes flash floods and washing away the homes and fields, because of that, climate refugees number is increasing. Climate refugees means people migrated because of the climate change, and is called as climate refugees, or also you can say environmental refugees. So the arrival of the black clouds and disappearance of the white snow in the cold desert are the indicators of the climate change. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on the Climate Change, is also called as IPCC, glaciers in the Himalayas are receding faster than in any other part of the world. So the UNFCCC meeting and other international forums should give maximum focus on the Himalayan glaciers. So finally, the climate change threatens the biodiversity, food security, water security and energy security in the Himalayan region. So vulnerable countries like India, China, Southeast Asia nations, Afghanistan, Pakistan must move rapidly to build resilience to these impacts, and they should adapt to the changing climate. Thank you for watching our current affairs online video lectures. To get more video lectures on different topics, visit our website commondindia.com. If you are interested to join our online video lectures batch for IAS 2017, contact us via WhatsApp, and our WhatsApp number is 809-809-9922. All the best for your IAS exam preparation. Thank you.